Hi guys.
Hey, how are
Hello.
you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. I really enjoyed the movie. It was not what I was expecting, but I really liked it. Valdimar, I was going to start with you. What inspired this story? Is farm life something that is close to you and your family? Is it something you've got experience in?
Yeah, my grandparents, they were sheep farmers, and I spent so much time of my childhood there, over the summertime and helping out in this lambing period. And so, yeah, this is a big part of, big part of me.
Based on a real story.
Based on a real story.
Noomi, I was reading that this was your first film you've done in Icelandic. Is that because I know it's a language you've obviously know well because you lived there as a child, but is it a language you've kept up with over the years, or did you need some refresher lessons?
I do argue with my dad and my stepdad in Icelandic. So, I mean, it's definitely a language that I kept. But still, it needed to be, I needed to open that box again. But strangely enough, I've always felt like I belong to Iceland, that Iceland is a very big part of me. So with everything, the farm work, the language, the nature, the rhythm of life, it just feels very close to my heart.
This is such a striking debut for you, Valdimar. I mean, how was it getting this film off the ground? Because it's a film with quite an unusual premise, and without a big kind of back catalogue of films for respective studios or producers to go by, did you struggle at all to get the kind of the right backing and the kind of support you needed? Because it is one of those films that you almost need to see it to know it works, if that makes sense.
We took some time, working on it, and I have a great producers, Hrönn and Sarah, and me and Sjón, we worked on this for so many years that it was like a slow process, but we all knew what we wanted to do, because we wanted to try to make a film that we wanted to see and thought somehow that we had not seen before. So everybody, everybody had the same goal. And
Noomi, I mean, unless it's the best CGI I've ever seen, it looks like you really actually did help in a birth with a lamb actually being born. How was that experience? That must be kind of an amazing experience to be part of something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it was very, I was a bit nervous before. It's like, it was my first day of filming, and I was like waiting in my trailer in the morning for them to come and get me whenever the sheep mother was ready to deliver. And then, they came and knocked on my trailer, and I run down to the barn and like in there, and then, camera rolling. And then I just felt like this weird, strange calmness just spread in my body. And I was like, I feel like I know how to do this. And then it was very powerful and very emotional. You just saw this little creature stand up for the first time and taking its first breath. And that was the birth of Lamb in our movie. So we set the tone for the rest of the shoot that day, I would say.
Yeah, because it must be quite strange. I guess inside you're probably thinking, "Oh my God, this is incredible," but the character's probably thinking, "Oh, this is just another day at work." So was that quite a hard thing to balance?
I mean, for Maria, she's very practical. She just hopes that the lamb is healthy and that it will survive, and that the mother sheep won't push her away. It's very matter of facty. So definitely that's what's going through my mind, rather than Noomi as me private.
And also the farmer that was working with us, he came to me and he was saying that he felt it was so, professional how Noomi was doing it, and he couldn't see any,
that it was my first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Valdimar, I mean, it must have been so. In any role, in any film you make, you need committed performers, and it sounds like obviously Noomi literally got her hands dirty making this. It must have been so great for you to have an actress like that play the lead role in this film.
Yeah, we were extremely lucky when Noomi decided to, be part of this project, because and also it has been so nice working with her because, you know, it's we somehow help each other out, and we talk about all the scenes, and we created it María together, so
It's very collaborative and very much, I would say that we were partners and, searching and, kind of living this story together with the animals, with the other actors, with the crew. It was a very small crew and we were all a part of this, of it. And like, I felt like everyone was just going to places they've never been before.
Yeah, because like lambing season is very specific time of year, and it cares very little to matching up to be the right season for good movie making. Did the two marry up okay, or were there any difficulties shooting at that exact time of year that this story required you to shoot in?
We shot it in 2 chapters.
And Noomi just like we talked about before, you came just one day before, and
it was crazy. I was shooting The Secrets We Keep in New Orleans, and I finished on a Friday, and then arrived up in Akureyri in the north of Iceland on Sunday. Started shooting on Monday, and it was like the last week of lambing season.
Yeah, so we had 10 sheep left, so we were very stressed that
they were like scanning the whole island of Iceland for like sheep that was still like they hadn't delivered yet.
So because I watched this movie and I saw my dog in the lamb in the film when it's born and the mother's licking it, and when you feed it with that little kind of milk bottle, and it had a bit of a profound effect on me because now I feel like I see my dog in animals, and now I'm starting to feel like I should be a vegetarian. Did these experiences making this change your guys' relationship at all with animals, and in particular animals that we eat?
I would say that it changed my relationship to nature and to animals in the sense that I feel like I've been a bit arrogant, I've been kind of living in this kind of distraction of like everything is going around us here, our perspective is so short-sighted. We kind of forgot that we're a part of something bigger. And when we were shooting there, because it was really kind of remote, and it was like, your phone is not working and you're just surrounded by this brutal nature and a lot of animals. And I was like, wow, I am really a part of this. And like, how could I have forgotten this, So I do feel like I got way more, I'm not the same after this movie. I'm not a vegetarian though, but I do feel like big changed in me in the way I see things and how I want to do things.
And I think it's also interesting because I have met so many people that have stopped eating meat after watching this film. It was not the plan, but I feel it's very interesting.
Yeah, well, it's because you kind of humanize the lamb in some ways, and it makes it, you sort of see its soul in the film, I think, and it just makes me feel really guilty. But that's not blaming you. But no, my final question, Noomi, I was going to ask you, because I just look at your kind of diverse range of projects, and this film is quite different to other stuff you've done, and it feels like every film you make is quite different to the next. Is that quite a conscious decision on your part? Are you always looking to try and find different things to do, or do you just follow the good stories and see where it takes you?
I'd say that it's a combination. I never want to repeat myself, so I do avoid everything that feels like I've been there before, I've done this. And I'm very drawn to the idea of putting myself in slightly uncomfortable situations where I need to like try my wings and be like, this is scary. I'm not really safe here. I don't know how to do this, and force myself to be brave over and over. So yeah, I mean, that is, and that's the beauty of making films, that we're never safe. You never know what's going to happen on the day. So you can never rely on old victories. So, and I want to be on my toes, and I want to be on that edge of discovering new things.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, and best of luck with the release of the movie, and hope the screenings in London go well.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!